A national protest meant to pressure Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa to resign turned into a shutdown as citizens opted to stay away rather than take to the streets amid a heavy security presence. Only a handful of protesters took part in the planned march, spearheaded by a group of disgruntled war veterans who have accused Mnangagwa of corruption and wanting to cling on to power. And they were dispersed by the police as well. Geza, who wants Vice President Constantine Chiwenga to replace Mnangagwa, had previously called for Zimbabweans to fill the streets in a final push to force the president to step down. Here's a report from Harare.
Harare is boiling. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has appointed a new army chief ahead of planned protests on Monday. Called by a group of war veterans who want to force the president to resign. The former Major General Emmanuel Matatu takes over with immediate effect. President Mnangagwa has faced calls from his former supporters to step down, citing mismanagement and corruption. Late this month, Mnangagwa abruptly retired his army chief, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyathwe, appointing him the Sports, Arts and Culture Minister.
It is indeed a great honor, special recognition from His Excellency. In fact, I am also humbled with the confidence and trust that the President has accorded me to lead this special ministry.
Hailing from the President's home province of Midlands, Matatu, reportedly 72 years old, is not a well-known figure, but his profile and age strongly suggest that he has been appointed to warm the chair during a volatile transition. It is likely that General Sibanda is consolidating his control of the army, which would suit President Mnangagwa and make him feel safer because he trusts the current ZDF commander. The ZDF was previously led by the man who is now Vice President, Constantino Chiwenga. The faction of the war veterans calling for protests have also called for Chiwenga to take over the presidency.
What we're seeing now is a renewed struggle from within ZANU-PF, within factions in ZANU-PF, for control of the ruling party. The second crisis, of course, is the crisis of the opposition. What we've seen again is a systematic dismantling of the opposition in the last 5 years at least. And thirdly, of course, the widespread and deepening crisis of livelihoods within the country.
Due to his ruthless reputation, Emmerson Mnangagwa goes by the nickname the Crocodile. He became president in 2017 following a coup against longtime leader Robert Mugabe and is currently serving his second and final term, which expires in 2028. Trouble began brewing during rallies of the governing ZANU-PF party last year after reports that the president wanted to extend his stay in office. Despite a recent assurance from Mnangagwa that he did intend to step down in 3 years, many remain unconvinced.
Mnangagwa finds himself in a global situation, global political situation where the global right is on the move. And so when you have people like Trump acting in such an anti-democratic fashion, when you have a rise of the global right in Europe, they have no real credibility to talk about democratization to people in the global south, because they themselves are behaving in very anti-democratic manner. So people like Mnangagwa, authoritarian leaders, are able to use this rise of the global right to say, well, you don't really care about democracy, why should we?
The criticism about his leadership from within his party and accusations that he intends to cling to power evoked memories of the lead-up to the coup that toppled Mugabe. While it is not clear how much public support the veterans have for their planned protests, the security minister has warned the people of Zimbabwe against taking part in the demonstrations. The police have announced a 4-day ban around the capital on the carrying of weapons or any instruments that can be used to cause violence. Africa Bureau, WION, World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.